Hello. Today I'll be showing you how I created the fireball effect in my game. And yes, I know my windows are still not activated. I will get to that. First, you need to get some fireball assets unless you're an artist. I think I got this from H or from Kenny. I can't remember where, but you need to get those. Then you create a new scene. I use the area 2D since I'm not creating a character, but I still need collisions. I needed to have collision and detect collision, so I used area 2D. Then I added the animated sprite 2D node because we're going to have two animations. We have one for when the fireball is being shot, and we have another animation for when it hits its target. So we use the animated sprite 2D. Then I added a collision 2D. Then I added the audio stream player to the node to give it a little sound for when it hits. It feels like we're really playing a game when there's sound, right? And I renamed my area to the fireball. If you don't know how to import your assets to Godot, you just drag and drop. We are not using sprite sheets, so you open in folder, select the animation files, and the animation player automatically creates an animation for you, which you can play. You can play around with the FPS, and you can put it on loop or not. The more FPS, the faster the animation, right? But take note, the more FPS you have, you draw more computing power. We name this shot because it's the animation for when the fireball is being shot, and we set it to default. Create a new animation called hit, and the same process. I selected the animation files, and it generated a new animation for me for when the fireball has been hit. This is pretty cool, right? Because it's from files, and everything is just coming to life, and it's looking, set to 30 fps. And I didn't put this on loop because it deletes after it hits, right? So there's no need to loop it. And if you click run scene, this particular scene, you can see what it looks like on short animation. So since it's on loop, it keeps looping, and that's what we want. Next, in the collision shape 2D node, set a new collision. I use the circle shape 2D, and you just make it cover the area of the fireball that you want to collide with other objects in game or characters. In this case, character, since and added a little audio, like I said, just to make it feel, and when you play it, it sounds like a fireball here, right? So over to the script, you attach a script to the area 2D. If you right click, you see where you can attach a script. You attach a script, and this is the GD script. The direction is always vector 2D. Set speed, damage. On ready, when the fireball is instantiated, we set default animated sprite 2D to short, which is our default animation, so it keeps on looping. On body entered, if the fireball hits a static 2D, which is like our world, the wall, it's queue freeze, and queue free basically means to delete the node from the scene, right? If the fireball hits a player or a body that has method take damage, the audio 2D reset is going to play first, which is the fireball hit.play. If you do not know how to bring this to the script, you just drag the fireball node while holding Ctrl and paste at the top of the script. Then you can call it in code. Then we set our animated sprite 2D to play hit, which awaits for the animation to finish, and cue free delete. You can do whatever you want with that. The init function takes the start position and target position and sets the global position of the fireball and it's been instantiated to start position. The start position is just, like I said, the global position, the position where the fireball is being instantiated. That's the start position. And the target position has been set from the enemy that shoots the fireball, sets the target position, which is the position of the player. When you click the mouse, it gets the global position of the player the global position, and sets it to target position. So the direction just subtracts the initial position, which is the start position, from the target position and normalizes it. Physics process function just sets the movement of the fireball. It makes it move by setting direction times speed times delta. Delta is the time decrement, and if you remember, we set max lifetime variable at the top of the script, which makes the fireball cue free if we reach max lifetime. So if 7 seconds, if the fireball has been instantiated for 7 seconds without hitting anybody, it deletes. To set collision layer, we head over to project settings, scroll down to 2D physics, and name all the collision layers you want to use. This is for when you have more than, say, 2 collision bodies, right? In this game I have so many, as you can see them. That's why I named them to have some organization. The layer sets the collision layer of the fireball, and the mask sets the layers which the fireball is to collide with. And thanks for watching. Please subscribe.